Why you talking like that, yo?
Because, you know what I mean? Everybody's low key right now. You know what I
Pimpin',
mean?
Yeah.
pimpin'. Know what I
Right?
mean? Yo, so check this out. You know, I tell you guys that my kids, like, there's like a jealousy thing going on, especially with my daughter.
Hmm.
I've told my wife, I was like, yo, I'm a little worried about that dynamic of her being jealous, but also she's jealous in the way that she's way more like standoffish on on showing like her feelings and like cariño. What the fuck? Why can't I think of cariño in English?
Just being sweet.
Affection.
Affection, being
Affection.
affectionate.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Come
The
on, man.
non-Latino busted out with it.
I
Come
don't
on,
So
know.
man.
We can't call K that though.
what,
K's like
non-Latino?
he's deeply entrenched in Latino culture.
Oh no, he's Latino by default and by osmosis.
Not me.
Um,
Not me.
not me. so anyways, so this is what happened. So yesterday, the routine is that the kids, we go upstairs after dinner, after they dinner, they decompress a little bit, go upstairs, and it's bath time, and then it's bedtime, and then between each of them taking a bath, they can do something like play, or sometimes my daughter has to do homework or whatever. So my daughter's usually first. She takes her bath, and then I'm playing with my son, and then whatever, they change. So my daughter was doing, like, got out of the bath. She was starting to work on her homework. I'm starting to get my son ready to go into the bath, but we're still like finishing some, like, playing. He's playing with like little car toys and stuff. And then he likes to, like, rough play, like wrestle and like jump on me and stuff like that. And we're sitting down by like a corner wall, and I'm playing with him, and I kind of tickle him, and he throws his head back fast, and he hits his head against the corner of like a
Ooh,
corner,
Corner? Oof.
a
damn.
corner, and bruh, he, like, lost it.
Yeah.
So I like grab him up real quick because I felt like guilty because it was me playing with him that made it happen. So I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like rubbing his head because that's the only thing I could think of to do, like, to minimize what he's feeling. And he's crying, and I'm holding him, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then my daughter's just looking, and she's actually going up to her bed, and she's looking, and she goes, how come you don't ever do that for me? You don't
Oh,
ever you don't ever worry about my cocos, because that's what we call coco, like when you
Right.
get hurt. You
yeah.
don't worry about my cocos. I go, of course I do. She goes, no, you don't. You don't care about me. You only
Oh.
love baby bro.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
Oh man, that
Has she
killed.
ever like said it straight up like that before?
Not really. She's made little comments, but nah, this is the most she's ever articulated, which
Damn.
I rather her articulate something like this.
Right.
And I'm just like, and I got up and I was like, how could you say that? I'm like, and I go up to her and I'm like, she's all like being all serious with me. She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm like, do you really believe this? And she's like, mm-hmm. I go, you really believe that I love your brother more than you? And she's like, mm-hmm. Or that I care, or that I tend to him more. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, listen, and I try to explain as best as I could. I was like, we're two parents, you're two kids. Mommy, she takes the role with you, and she does a lot of stuff with you, and I, end up doing a lot of stuff with your brother. But it's not because we're purposely picking each other out, you or him. I go, that's not what's happening here. And I was like, I try to assure her that I love her the same, and that they're both equally important, and that she's my firstborn. If she could even grasp what that even means. And I'm like, she's my first love, and she's the only girl in my life in terms of the daughter, and he's the only boy. But
What would
yeah,
you what
man.
would you have done if your son stopped crying and said, "Your first love"? What do you mean by that?
I mean, well, he did his version of something like this was when my daughter a couple weeks ago came up with the paper for the daddy daughter dance, and it's like, daddy daughter dance, dad, I can't wait. And then he goes, and he was like, yeah. And then she goes, no, you can't go, it's daddy daughter dance. And he just started
Oh
crying. He's
man.
like, I want to
Oh
go.
damn.
And that was like his younger version of a meltdown in that way. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's rough, man. I mean, well, Kay, you don't have two or three, but Manny, have you ever had incidents like this where one of the kids calls you out saying that you love them less, or that you only do for one and you don't do for them?
It's happened, particularly with my youngest. She's now 8. But she's super petty, and she has a habit of saying things that she doesn't mean all the time. And we catch her and show her, and she be like, "Okay, you got me." So she knows that she does this stuff because she's super dramatic, super petty, and has to have everything her way, or else she's gonna let you have it, right? Whether it's fair or not.
That's my daughter too. What sign is your daughter?
She is Pisces. Yeah, Pisces.
Okay.
But it happens. We kind of just like we hold her accountable, and we always see we're really good at bringing up like examples of stuff, like very specific, typically relatively recent, where it's not like, oh, that didn't happen or it was debatable. Um, and then all of us hold each other accountable, so we all get in on it, and we try to be very fair about it, and
Right.
and so that tends to help us in our situation because it's like you don't have any real wiggle room. It's either you're being petty or actually something happened that we need to address. There's rarely is there like any middle ground. So we kind of hold, just let the truth kind of prevail and then hold people accountable. My daughter's personality though I think also helps. And she'll be petty, she'll hold a grudge, but if you can stack evidence, she'll cave. She'll be like, all right, yeah, she'll like throw a smile or walk away, like fake crying, but then be laughing in the corner after she knows that, she got what she wanted. So it's always like these mind games with her. But it's never been anything serious.
Yeah, my daughter won't cave. She'll stick to something
So
stubbornly.
how did that night end with your daughter? Like, did you just walk out of the room after a
No,
while?
I
Or,
mean, I do a little prayer with her before she, my wife. This is where it's becoming the issue. Like, my wife tucks her in and like makes sure she goes to sleep and does the routine with her, and then it's like we each go to our corners, and then I take my son to the room, and I do the routine with him till he goes to sleep. And I guess maybe my daughter's just like, why? Like, why does this have to be like every night you
mm,
go with him and you spend this time with him? And
why don't you swap?
yeah. So I mean, what I did at that night or yesterday, I was like, I do a little prayer with her, and then I just tell her good night, and kind of left it at that. I was reiterating to her how much I love her, and she was like, okay, and then
Yo, petty gang,
yeah.
kid.
Yeah, and then but me and my wife and I were saying maybe what we need to do is do the routine together, like her and I put her to sleep. Little guy could hold off and wait. She was like basically what I do with them when you're not home at night. Where she has him wait while she does the routine with her, and then she'll go to him and tell my daughter, hey, okay, good night, and now I'm gonna, or she'll tell him, you gotta wait till I'm done with your sister.
Can't you do
So
every
she's
other night? Or is that just weird for the kids?
I
Because
just
they're
think the
used.
kids, they're very like they're into their routines, and the
Yeah.
minute you switch it, they're like, it's already hard enough. My son is doing this crazy thing where he has to get up off the bed like 3 to 4 times afterwards. It's like a
Oh,
game for him now.
it is a
He never
game.
used to do this, but it's like, okay, good. You do everything under the sun. First it used to be one book, then it became 2 books, then it became 2 books, but the last book you got to do it twice. Then it became now 3 books, and the third book you got to do twice, plus the prayer, plus a song that I sing for him. All of that, and so then I'll do all of that and then leave, and I'll tell him, don't get out of your bed. And then we hear the door wiggling
Mm.
open, and I'll just look down the hall, and then he'll look and close the door, and then I'll open it, and he'll be like behind it hiding, and I'll be like, "Get in your bed." He goes, and he giggles, and he goes back to the bed, and he'll do. The other night he did it like 6 times. Like it's like a game, but again, what I'm trying to say is that the routine, even something like that, like that now that's the norm where he'll do that. If we break the routine, it'll probably be like some other random thing that we don't know that he's gonna start doing. Like they're just really good about their routines, and then once we break them, they switch up in terms of like how how well they'll go to sleep. So, but we want to try to do it together. Hopefully that works.
Would you guys do it all together? So, like for instance, is your daughter the one that goes to sleep first, or do they both go to sleep at the same time?
I've tried that. It won't work
It won't
because
work.
he'll still demand all, the laundry list of things that he wants done. And
Got
he fights it. Like if I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then starts crying, and then he's gonna wake up his sister, and it's like, nah, bro. Like, also the other thing, he always, no matter how many pisses he takes before, he's always like, oh, I gotta take a piss.
Hmm.
And
Is-
usually he'll take a piss, but then oftentimes too, he'll be like, nothing there. He just wanted to get out the bed.
It's like, got you.
I don't know why. I just imagine when you said you sing a song to your son, I was like, I imagine you sit next to your son and you're singing the chorus for Coolio's Magic Carpet Ride, and your son is like, yeah.
Nah, I made up this song, and I
Come
don't even think he cares about
on
the
in.
song anymore. He used to be very into the song. He used to be into he doesn't care about any of it anymore. He just wants me to go through. He just wants to extend the time that he's awake now.
Everybody wants to hear the song now, right?
No, chill out.
Come on,
I've
dog.
said it before. It's just a song where I'm like going through the motions of everybody in their lives and that they love you. I'm like, mommy loves you, daddy loves you.
We
Like
need to hear the. We need
I'm
to hear
not
the.
doing the song.
We need to hear the high pitch.
No. You good.
Do the Coolio version.
Nah. I'm like, son, you straight out of Compton. I was gonna mention something else too that had happened with them. Oh, and then yesterday, well, I told you he got hit, so he hurt himself. A side note, funny note is I'm like, oh my. Afterwards, I didn't notice that a bump formed in the back of his head. I was like, a pretty, yeah. And I tell him, oh my god, tremendo chichón, and he goes, chichón. And I go, yeah, you have a chichón. Chichón. Everything was chichón. He woke up and he goes, ay, chichón.
Yo, they say you rub a little salt and butter on that thing, and it's supposed to.
Really?
That's what.
And then what? Stir fry it? Like what?
I mean, if you want to saute or stir fry, yeah, but no, that's supposed to work. I mean, I've done it.
Okay. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
there was something else I
out of
wanted to add to that, but I guess that'll be it for now.
So wait, you had a daddy-daughter, Des.
We talked about this.
Did we?
Yeah. Didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Wait, no. You talked about the ice cream truck joint.
No, that's just the clip that was put
Yeah,
out.
no,
I
we
talked about it.
We did.
Yeah.
All right. Then I forgot.
Yeah.
I was
You're acting like me on Drink Champs, where I don't remember what we talked about.
But wait,
I
you
just
just
know the
sent
clips.
you just sent through something, Manny, about the
basketball
we were gonna talk
joint?
about. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right?
man. So I had like a dope week, 7 days. So I got the opportunity. I think I might have mentioned this last time around. I got an opportunity to take my daughter to a Knicks game, had dope seats. And then so it was one Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday, I was able to take my son. So I've always wanted, like I've always said to myself, I want to like sit courtside. Or actually, what I've said is I want floor seats at Knicks games, right? And I got the opportunity to make that happen. So I
Big
went.
baller.
My intention was to buy one ticket because these joints are crazy expensive. So I was
have
gonna
your
buy.
kid on your lap.
Nah, I was gonna go dolo. I was
Oh.
like, yo, this is my dream.
Right.
Yeah, y'all gonna have to chill. But I got creative.
Listen, we know what he means.
Yeah. So I got creative, and then I found like I called the garden. Basically, is what I did. Madison Square Garden. I was like, yo, I'm trying to get these seats. Like, who could I talk to figure
You're
out
like
what?
Manny from Fatherhood?
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, hold on, let me pass you to the VIP.
Mr. Digital.
Right.
No, but that ass, they put me through to the VIP ticketing people
Nice.
or person. And I come to find out, I was able to, for the amount that I was willing to spend for one ticket, I was able to get 4. split between 2 games. So 2 in one and 2 in the other. And I was like, yeah. So I'm over there, whatever, figuring it out. Finally, I settle on a couple games, a couple tickets, and a couple seats. And then we go. Last week, took my daughter. She got her favorite player, autographed her jersey. We had awesome seats right behind the Knicks bench. And we came out on TV a couple times. Like, it was a dope experience. My daughter gets home. She tells my son about it. My son knows he's going to go the next week, but he's happy for her and all that. My daughter goes, yo, I just need you to do one thing when you go to this thing. And he goes, what? She goes, you can't get more autographs than I did. So what does my son do?
Get more
As
autographs.
soon as he gets there, not only did he get more she got one.
She had to know she was setting that up, though.
I think so. But
Yeah.
this dude got 7, but he lucked out because as soon as I get over there, so I'm sitting in these seats. The guy who's doing the electricity for my basement happens to be the guy who picks up all the gear for the visiting team. And like,
What is the odds of that?
I found out before the game, but
is that a thing when you get floor seats to go get autographs from? Is that like a thing? Or?
When you do
Or were you just being an annoying fan?
because they have shoot around right
The middle
before
of the game. Excuse me, can you sign?
Before the game starts, they let you. So some people get access to shoot around. It's not everybody. Even if you have those seats, I don't think you necessarily have access to shoot around. So we got access to shoot around both games. That's where we were able to get the bulk of
That's
the.
before the game?
Yeah, like hour and a half before the game. So anyhow, so my electrician happens to be the guy who I call him a ball boy, but I think they're like the locker room technician. So he
sounds way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, ball boy.
Right. So he sees me. I call him out. I'm like, yo, he sees me. He's like, yo, you got dope seats. And then he finds me later.
He's gonna charge you more for the next job he does
for the job.
And to get the ball boy thing, he has only electricians are allowed to get that job.
Yeah. Only at the Garden, you got to be an electrician. No. Now he's been doing that for like 20 years, 30 years maybe. So he grabs my son and lets him come on the court to rebound for the team. And
that's not the dude in the video that you sent us. The dude in the video is the father, right?
No, I'm gonna get to that. That's
okay.
Even better. So my son's out there, he's shooting by himself for a little while, like the only kid on the court. Then the team comes out, starts to shoot, get warmed up for the second half of the game. He's over there grabbing the ball, rebounding, passing to all these players.
Your son?
My son, bro.
Man.
Wow. And nobody's questioning this? Like there's
nobody
else
legit.
is saying I don't think he's supposed to be there?
Nah, it's legit. Like the guy said, yo, come, and the security was like, yo, he said go. So do your thing. And then so we're in the back. So when you have these seats, they give you access to this like I'm not gonna, if I call it a cafeteria, it's like the
Ciroc lounge
levels down. It's a lounge. It's a lounge. And there's mad food and all this stuff in there. So in there, it's attached to the Knicks locker room. So they can easily come out and get food and go back in if they wanted to. So the best player on the Knicks right now, the most like highly touted guys, his name is Jalen Brunson. His dad, Rick Brunson, is also a coach for the Knicks.
Oh, wow.
Rick Brunson happens to be walking by, and my son looks at me, looks at him. He's like, yo, that's Rick Brunson. I was like, yo, go tell him you want a picture. My son didn't miss a beat. Jumps out of his seat, goes, like, yo, Rick, can I get a picture? Rick, like, disses him. He's like, nah. And he, like started making his way to the locker room.
Oh, shit.
And then turned back around. I was like, nah, just kidding. And like hugged my son and grabbed him, whatever.
Damn, what a hard ass, bro.
Yeah.
Right, damn.
So for a second, I'm looking at it like, that really just, and then I'm like, oh, okay, he's just being an asshole like I would. Perfect. So I'm taking a picture. I'm doing video and picture at the same time. And then all of a sudden he's like, yo, come, I'm taking you to the locker room. I was like, he's lying. Sure enough, he walks to the locker room and opens the door. He's like, you can't come to me.
Makes sense now with the first part of the story that he would say that like that.
Right. Well, I wasn't sure if he was serious or kidding.
So you just
but I stayed. I was like, I'm not gonna ruin this for him. Let him just do his thing. And then as soon as the door closed, I'm like, yo, that's an asshole parenting move, bro. I just left my son alone with a perfect stranger.
Yeah.
But my son meets Jalen. Jalen's injured. He wasn't gonna play. He barely saw him at the game. sees him, he autographed it. My son got to talk to him for a little bit. There's a few other players that were in there. And bro, like he came out of there like on a cloud, bro. And I saw Rick later and I'm like, yo, thank you so much. And he's like, yo, like you're welcome, like super cool dude. But that whole night, bro, was just like, oh, and at the end, another dude that was just there that I happen to know through other people. I introduced myself. He gave me wristbands. We got to take a picture at center court and really had like all this access that we just weren't expecting. So
Isn't another electrician?
They have like a union there.
Nah. Shout out to Randy, Randy Cruz. That's his name. He's a dope content creator, but he works for the Garden, like helping kids get some of these experiences. So
that's cool that he brought your son out there.
Yeah, he looked out, man. It was an awesome.
Do you think it's because you knew him or because you had good seats?
Nah, so that particular thing, I think it was just we clicked there and he just offered it to us. The fact that I had those seats, I don't think it hurt, but I don't think that was the reason. Because I easily would have not been able to get on there if I didn't have those that bracelet that he got us.
Because the average family in the nosebleed is not getting that access.
Probably not. But another lesson is like, yo, who you know. Because in both, like the electrician was one example, and then the homeboy Randy that I just met, but because we had mutual relationships, like if it just felt like sometimes you meet somebody for the first time, but people through other people, and it's just you vibe. It was that kind of party.
Did your son play it up to his sister when he got back?
He was pretty humble about it.
He
didn't try to make her feel bad because he figured she would be jelly. And she's the hot. So the funny thing is, my daughter's like, "Yo, Dad, send me pictures," and I'm like, "Yo, you sure you want to see what we doing right now?" Huh. I was like, "You sure?" Because this shit's crazy. And she's like, "Yeah." Yo, by the fourth picture or the fifth video, whatever the hell I say, she's like, my wife's like, "All right, I think she's good." But yeah, man, it was wild. So I got to figure out how to get more seats over there and make some of this shit happen again.
That's dope. Congrats, man.
That's a good experience for
Glad your kids had a good time.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm still I'm still mad high from that whole experience. Like I don't even know what else to talk about right now. How about this? Yo, if you're listening and you fucks with the fatherhoods, please subscribe on YouTube. Just search Fatherhoods with an S, 2 words. Also, check us out on IG. We're heavy on IG at Fatherhoods Pod. And if you have questions for us, DM us on IG. Because a lot of the time, people have questions about some of the stuff we talk about. And we love to answer those. Typically, we do it on DM. But if it's good enough, we'll bring it to the pod as well.
And if you have your own advice for us, for anything you hear us talking about.
Yo, that's actually a really good point. Because I get this sometimes from people like we're authorities. And bro, let me tell you guys, like we are the furthest thing from an authority on being a father. Like we just happen to have a podcast. That's really the only difference between you listening and us on here.
And happen to have kids.
And just happen to have. But no, for real, like a lot of insight comes from just people having conversation. That's the whole purpose of the pod. So please like engage us. Like we'd love to hear your takes on anything we talk about or just general advice for kids age range 8 through 17. No,
that's the age range?
Less, because your daughter's what, 4?
Jeez,
5?
my son is 3.
Your son is 3. Damn.
Yeah, you just X'd my kids out of the situation. Well, damn, I quit.
Right.
You know what? I was looking at K the whole time.
Yeah.
What a dick. He goes to the Knicks game, gets VIP treatment.
So anybody's still in school, basically, is what we
How
talk
about newborn to or even pregnant to whatever age? So 40 years old if you're a kid growing up in Miami. Because you live with your parents still. I saw something that they said, what's the most Miami thing, about you? He's like, I live with my parents. I'm 40 years old.
That shit ain't Miami no more, bro. That shit is everywhere right now.
Yo, wild. What was I watching? I was watching something. Did I share something with you guys about the generational thing? And did we talk about that already? Remember about the lady talking about the therapy and
On
Gen
Joe Rogan?
Z.
Oh yeah. We talked
Yeah.
about that
We
on.
talked about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a clip up on
There's
our
yeah,
IG, as a
clip.
matter of fact.
Oh, I'm gonna go check out that clip now. Well, I know we can't get into this now because it's too much stuff to get into, and we've talked about it a little bit in the it's something that comes up often, but we do have to start to tackle and research more about the effects of AI for the future of our children and all of us really, but for what it means immediately for the kids.
I'll tell you what it means for my 17-year-old. It means homework's getting a lot easier.
Well,
They use the
Oh.
fuck out of that thing.
But that's the thing. Look, I was watching something today about it, and it was discussing about corporations and financial institutions and kind of like these entities that are in the background that are really controlling things and how they are applying AI for more control, right? And what it's one of the things it was saying to what you're saying is that the evolution of people will be to I forgot the words that they use, but we're gonna start to lose the skills of writing, lose the skills of being creative because we're gonna just
Defer to that.
deploy AI for everything. Like I don't want to write a caption anymore. I actually was doing that the other day, but at least I think it becomes generational because if you come from a certain generation where you did it enough, that skill's kind of in you. But imagine a generation that doesn't do it,
Never
and just
developed it.
uses these
I think a
tools.
calculator was the first AI because no one can do math anymore.
Yo,
True,
facts.
but I think even though we grew up with calculators, we still learned, we still had pencil and paper, and we had to work out problems.
I can't even help my son with his.
No,
fifth grade
because
math.
because the way they do math now is ridiculous. Like the format of the way they
I'm
do it
tapped
is
out.
crazy, bro. Yo, I know we promised we were gonna end the episode, but y'all gonna have to bear with us for a second.
Hmm?
We're
Listen
going
to
down the
this
rabbit
shit.
hole.
My I speak Spanish. You guys speak Spanish, right? I learned Spanish the non-traditional route, or I guess more traditional than the school route. School, they teach you stuff, but a lot of people who learn it in school, unless they go really deep and advanced, don't really have the ability to speak fluently a lot of the time. So I learned at the house, speaking to family, like in the real world. My daughter's learning most of it, unfortunately, because we suck at teaching her in school. So yesterday she hits me with, Dad, can you help me with this sentence, how to translate it? I'm like, sure. She gives me a sentence. I can't remember what the hell it was. And she's like, and then I translate it for her. And then she goes, okay, but can you put that in the subjunctive of the, I was like, shut up. Don't talk to me about subjunctive,
I never even heard that word.
I was like, I don't know.
Subjunctive. What the fuck is that?
Yo, don't ask me.
Yeah, when you have a cold, you gotta blow your nose.
Yeah, I gotta drop a subjunctive in the toilet right now.
I'm like, yo, I don't think about Spanish in the academic way. I think about Spanish in the logical way. Like if you ask me, how do you like earlier, how do you say cariñoso, affection? Right? Like I don't ask me to put it in any tense or any, no, I just know this is the way it's supposed to be said. So she's asking me all these questions. I'm like, yo, honey, I can tell you that what I'm telling you is correct. How you piece it together in academia, I couldn't even tell you.
Google Translate.
So it's the same thing with math. Math is like a whole nother language now, the way the kids do math. You're not there yet, E, but when you get there, you're going to be like.
No, but okay, look, but you kind of diverted from what I was trying to get to.
Yeah,
but
on purpose.
To circle it back. None of this shit is even going to matter in the near future with AI and all these applications because they're not going to have to learn the language if it's going to be it's so easy to translate in real time.
But what do you so here's devil's advocate for a second. Just like evolution has taken away things that were done more consistently by human civilization, right, in the past, we've elevated into higher order things, and we've kind of automated or eliminated things that we were doing that used to be kind of the norm.
Right.
my and this is going to skew different ways depending on how things shape up, but I think that's similar to what's happening. I can't tell you what it's going to look like, but I think humanity's evolving where something like language is changing again, and something like AI is helping to not have to think more about X and now potentially focus on Y.
Well, you're
I
right,
don't,
E, about that people lose the skills, but then I saw a quick read the other day that what people are saying, because people say, okay, well, you have AI, then it eliminates the need for humans to do X, Y, or Z. But the way that you counteract that is humans need to learn how to, in a sense, control the AI. So it's like you use it as your tool for whatever kind of job you're doing. So it's not like the AI isn't the first thing that's doing the prompt and doing the work. The human is still
controlling it.
controlling it and conducting whatever it is that AI is doing.
Right, but don't you think?
But then you lose, but yeah, you will lose skills. You
But
won't know
don't
how
you
to
think
write.
this is the first, or not the first time in history, but the dependence on that, and then the losing of the skills if the internet and goes out or someone nefarious
I'm,
hijacks AI.
but I'm telling you but that goes back to, I mean, I was making a joke about the calculator, but
Right.
I would bet that a good majority, if you go into a store and then the cash systems went out, and if someone had to
Figure it out.
do the math, and I've seen it before where the systems are out and people are struggling trying to figure out how the hell to add shit up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're not using that. We're not using those skills on a day-to-day basis because we have technology that can do it for us quickly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't I don't see it as the calculator to me is not a good, unless you're fucking doing those scientific problems and shit, like those crazy math equations. I don't see it as a problem because I still feel that we had calculators, but we still learned how to use it, at least a certain generation. I don't know how the generations afterwards, if they implemented the calculator into every single day in math class.
I'm
But
just saying, even if we learned it, there's still a level of forgetting. Like even if you did memorization on certain like tables and stuff, there's still a level of forgetting that stuff. And especially if you don't, just like with language, right? If you know multiple language, but you don't use it, you're gonna forget that, right? There's gonna be forgetting. So any kind of learned thing like math, for example, you may retain some of the basics, but if you're not using it on a kind of keeping it sharp, it's going to be harder to do it quickly.
But don't you think we still use the useful math? Like I don't go to my calculator for like accounting stuff. Like I'll use it to check my math. But I still write out and do like my wife laughs at me. I carry the numbers over and all that stuff. And she laughs at me, but I still do it.
Well, you're keeping your brain sharp that way.
Right. That's more
But-
like for you because you're comfortable in that, and you're probably doing it to like challenge yourself so you don't forget.
I don't know about challenging myself, but
I mean, it is to an extent because that's your habit.
I get it. I mean, look, I'm gonna send you the clip so you guys could peep it because I think I'm always terrible at kind of regurgitating some of these things. But the person also goes into like all the nefarious things of all these organizations that are out there to like basically win off of the detriment of humanity. And it's not a conspiracy theory. Like the way that they lay it out is like, yo, it is what it is. Like, look at what bots have done to the world, like what governments have done with propaganda and bots to change populations' ideas of things. And so that's a real thing. And they're like, well, imagine now these government sponsored bot campaigns added with the AI technology. They're like, it's out of here.
Yeah.
It's out of here because
we're
now you have
we're gonna
bots
witness
with
that
real-time
this
data.
year. Yeah, we're gonna witness that this year.
It's happening right
yeah.
now. Yeah, in real time.
Yeah.
Like you can't and that's the thing. I don't think this is. I'm gonna try to see if I can make sense of it, and we're done here. But the problem is, it goes back to the innate common sense that that you should have, and I feel like the generations coming up are losing that common sense and defaulting on whatever they see as being real first before they Like
Question
instead of saying I'm not sure this is real first, they're like it's real first, and then tell me it's not later. You know,
That's
It's
and
like
then
this.
it's too late.
It's like the simple kid shit when they're young, you know, elementary school, whatever, and you know they hear one thing from a friend, like so and so did this, and then it's automatically true, right?
Right.
that's
Because
happening. That's happening every day in my house.
because there's no other source. They're not fact checking a source. They just, oh, this must be true. So and so said it.
It's
You
like it's
know?
like stunting growth. It's immaturity. It's like
Yeah.
a stunt, and I don't. And that's what I really think is gonna happen. Like or is happening. It's stunting everybody's growth. Like I see grown adults who didn't understand social media reverting back to like being like kids in the terms of them believing or thinking someone was their friend, you know, and like all these like my mom, like oh, I have a friend in Istanbul. No, you don't, mom. Motherfucker's not your friend.
All right, let's close on that note.
Yeah.
All
Eh?
I mean,
All right, y'all. Peace.
pizza.